Guys, so today in this video we're going to establish a pattern of Zionist normalizing behavior by Jadalia. So we've talked about Muin Rabbani. He is a Zionist gatekeeper. He's a Zionist subversive. But we're going to also talk about his co-editor, Noura Erakat. So Erakat is a Zionist grifter with many ties to Fateh. Her uncle, Saeed Erakat, was a Zionist normalizer who was part of Fateh. So this is a tweet that Noura Erakat made. She says, the plan, as far as we see, is a pause, and the possibility of violation and resumption is too real unless global powers act with power and restrain, prevent and punish a genocidal state from its death-making. And then Bikram Gill says, maybe we should give a little more credit to the Palestinian armed resistance. This is about the ceasefire, and its allies in the axis of resistance. These sort of analyses ignore the importance of armed struggle and instead center their belief that global powers will save Palestine. Imagine being Palestinian and being told off by an Indian. That's embarrassing. So here's what Good Shepherd Collective, they cited the tweet made by Bikram Gill. And they said, this is what Good Shepherd Collective said. This critical analysis helps us to decouple movement strategy from liberal praxis. Erakat and others, Muin Rabbani, for example, would rather have the Makadisis, most people in the West Bank would rather have us all stay wedded to and subservient to the existing NGO structures and liberal parties advocating for reform rather than revolutionary solidarity. Again, Noura Erakat is a liberal Zionist subversive, much like Muin Rabbani, who we talked about in the India and the Global Grift video. So again, Noura Erakat's being platformed on BBC. She's being platformed on Al Jazeera. And look at, and now Muin Rabbani's talking with grifter Audley Imsais, talking with grifter Nathan Thrall. Erakat's making more appearances on BBC. But here's something interesting, guys. Muin Rabbani is normalizing Laura Friedman of the Foundation for Middle East Peace. Now, this is who Laura Friedman is. She is a Zionist grifter and a Zionist subversive. Okay? This is who the Foundation for Middle East Peace works with. 972 magazine, that's a Zionist publication. Akivot, that's a Zionist organization. So we'll click on them. Again, 972 is a Zionist publication. Akivot. Akivot is a Zionist normalization organization. Americans for Peace Now. Again, two-staters, liberal Zionists. Who else? Association for Civil Rights in the Zionist Entity. So look how they talk about civil rights instead of liberation. Again, another Zionist settler organization. They also collaborate with B'Tselem, another Zionist normalization group. Okay. B'Tselem is Zionist. BIMCOM. They also collaborate with BIMCOM, which is another, again, Zionist normalization group. Breaking the silence, I can tell you for a fact they're a Zionist normalization group that whitewashes IOF war criminals. Again, breaking the silence, Zionist normalization group that whitewashes IOF criminals. Build Palestine, I don't know, but that sounds like a Zionist normalization group. Center for Jewish Nonviolence. That, again, is a Zionist normalization group, and they have ties with the Alaska Native movement. So, Diaspora Alliance Fund. Again, another Zionist normalization group. Emek Shaveh, Zionist normalization group. See? What did I say? Zionist normalization group. European Legal Support Center. That's a Zionist normalization group as well. Gisha. How much you want to bet? That's a normal... See? Zionist normalization group. Who else does the Foundation for Middle East Peace normalize? Hamoked, again, Zionist normalization group. Hakel, another Zionist normalization group. Human Rights Defenders Fund. That is another Zionist normalization group. If not now, Zionist normalization group. Again, another Zionist normalization group. Institute for Middle East Understanding. Another Zionist normalization group. Ir Amim. Again, Zionist normalization group. Jewish Currents. Zionist propaganda outlet. JVP. Another Zionist normalization group. Just Vision. Another Zionist normalization group. Kerem Navot. Again, Zionist normalization group. Medical Aid for Palestinians kind of does sound like a Zionist normalization group as well. Middle East Institute. Zionist normalization group. Military Court Watch. Zionist normalization group. The Movement for Freedom of Information in Occupied Palestine. That's a Zionist normalization group as well. Are we now seeing a pattern? Oh, did we miss Jewish Voice for Peace? That's a Zionist normalization group. Jewish Voice for Peace, another Zionist normalization group. The New Zionist Fund, another Zionist normalization group. Palestinian American Research Center. Yeah, that's a Zionist normalization group. It's a think tank in DC. Palestine Institute for Public Diplomacy. That sounds Zionist to me. That's a Zionist normalization group. Physicians for Human Rights, Occupied Palestine. Yet another Zionist settler normalization group. Project 48. Another Zionist normalization group. Which is crazy because my family's from occupied 1948 Palestine. Truah, obviously a Zionist normalization group. Terrestrial Qudus, another Zionist normalization group. Visualizing Palestine, another Zionist normalization group. Who profits? Another Zionist normalization group. Yesh Din, another Zionist normalization group. And Zochrot, yet another Zionist normalization group. So why is Jadalia platforming Lara Friedman? Why are they platforming this Zionist subversive, who is a former U.S. Foreign Service officer with diplomatic postings in Qudus, D.C., Tunis, and Beirut, and has a BA from University of Arizona, a master's degree from Georgetown School of Foreign Service? Nope, we don't want to email nobody. And who is their founder? Merle Thorpe Jr., a Zionist, a liberal Zionist. So, this is typical DC think tank crap. And their missions are grants, programming, and research, promoting respect for international law, democratic norms, human rights, and dignity, and they normalize the Zionist entity. This organization is liberal Zionist. This is a liberal Zionist organization. So why is Jadalia platforming Lara Friedman? It doesn't make sense, right? It just doesn't make sense why they are. But again, we all know that Muin Rabani is a liberal Zionist. They also platform liberal Zionist Avi Schleim. So this is who Avi Schleim is. Avi Schleim is a Zionist settler. Avi Schleim migrated to occupied 1948 Palestine from Baghdad. And Schleim grew up in a literal Zionist settlement. He's a Zionist settler, and he left occupied 1948 Palestine in England to study at a Jewish school, and he returned to occupied 1948 Palestine in 1964 to participate in the IOF. Again, and he served as an outside examiner on the doctoral thesis of Ilan Pape. Dude, Avi Schleim is a liberal Zionist. He is a Zionist settler. So why is Muin Rabani platforming Avi Schleim? Next, you have Muin Rabani platforming Jonathan Graubart. Now, who's this Jonathan Graubart guy? Jonathan Graubart is a professor and chair of political science at San Diego State. He specializes in the areas of international relations, international law, Palestine, Zionism, and Jewish descent. Graubart occasionally writes op-eds for such forums as Truth Out, Common Dreams, and Academe, and serves on the Academic Advisory Board for Jewish Voice for Peace. So this guy is a Zionist grifter. Notice the pattern of international law instead of armed resistance and liberation. Again, Graubart is a liberal Zionist. The co-editor, so we know Muin Rabani is a liberal Zionist, but the co-editor, Noura Erakat, she's also a liberal Zionist. She's also a liberal Zionist. Look at who her uncle is. Oh, by the way, she went to Cal and graduated with a bachelor's degree in 2022, was a member of Phi Beta Kappa, was named a Human Rights Center Summer Fellow in 2003 at University of California. She got her JD from Cal, and she completed her LLM at Georgetown University. And she's the Institute for Policy Studies at Rutgers, and she's an advisor with Al-Shabaka. She is a liberal Zionist. Oh, by the way, her brother is Fusi Tube. And you want to know who her uncle is? Because this is the icing on the cake, folks. Her uncle, Noura Erakat's uncle, is Saib Erakat, who was born in Abu Dis, and he's part of the Palestinian branch of the Hoetat Tribal Confederation. And guess what? He went to City College of San Francisco and San Francisco State, and he has a PhD in Peace and Conflict Studies at the University of Bradford in England. And so here in 91, Erakat was a Zionist normalizer at the Palestinian Convention to the Madrid, or delegation to the Madrid Conference, and the subsequent follow-up talks in DC in 92 and 93. And in 94, he was made the local minister for the Palestinian National Authority and the chairman of the Palestinian Normalization Delegation. In 95, Erakat served as chief negotiator for the Palestinians during the Oslo period. He was then elected to the Palestinian Legislative Council in 96, representing Ariha. As a politician, Erakat was considered to be a Yasser Arafat loyalist, including the Camp David meetings in 2000 and negotiations in Taba in 2001. Erakat was also, along with Arafat and Faisal Husseini, one of the three highest-ranking Palestinians who asked Ariel Sharon not to visit Al-Aqsa in September 2000. So, largely, the legacy of Saib Erakat is one of Zionist normalization. Again, he is a Zionist normalizer. And he resigned from his post as chief negotiator on 12 February 2011, citing the release of the Palestine Papers. In July 2013, however, he was still holding the function. He became Secretary General of the Executive Committee of the Palestinian Liberation Organization. He later promoted a plan for the basis for new talks with international diplomats, including Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law and special advisor. So, Erakat's a sellout. The Erakat family is full of sellouts and grifters. I mean, you have Noura Erakat shilling for NGOs, going on I Mix What I Like with Jared Ball, who is also a liberal Zionist grifter, right? You have her talking with Jeffrey Sachs. Like, there is a clear Zionist grift by Noura Erakat. And there's a lot of nepotism there too. Who else? Who else are they promoting? Again, liberal Zionist Jamie Stern Viner. liberal Zionist. Oh, look. Muin Rabani is normalizing liberal Zionist Norman Finkelstein. Again, we've talked a lot about Norman Finkelstein on this channel, and we know that he is a two-stater and he opposes BDS. Again, Zionist settler Gideon Levy being platformed by Muin Rabani. Little refresher, Gideon Levy, liberal Zionist from Czechoslovakia. Participated in the IOF. Served as a propagandist in the IOF and a propagandist for Shimon Peres, a.k.a. Lionel Messi's butt buddy. Then became a propagandist for Haaretz. Calls himself a patriotic Zionist. Again, supports one normalized Zionist state. And he lives in the village of Sheikh Munis in occupied 1948 Palestine. He lives in an ethnically cleansed Palestinian village as a Zionist settler. Again, and who's this? Rick Perlstein. Myrav Zonzain, I think is how you say your name. Zonzain. Because this one's like a big red flag. Myrav Zonzain works for the International Crisis Group, and she is a Zionist settler. She's a Zionist settler who also has a U.S. passport and is the founding editor of Zionist propaganda outfit 972. And notice how she doesn't speak Arabic, but she speaks Spanish, English, and Hebrew. Interesting. So why are they platforming her? And then you got Rick Perlstein. This guy. Liberal Zionist from Milwaukee, Rick Perlstein. Again, he's a Zionist grifter. So why is Jadalia platforming this guy? This is clearly a Zionist normalization pattern of behavior. Remy Brulin. Remy Brulin is also a Zionist grifter. Oh, and Jadalia also promotes Diana Butu, who is a Zionist normalizer as well. And we've talked about her on this channel. Notice how they prop up Arab Spring. Benon Sivan, liberal Zionist. Jeffrey Sachs. Oh, where's that tweeter machine thing? Jeffrey Sachs is a Zionist grifter and a China bender. Bingo. Jeffrey Sachs is a liberal Zionist who is worried about the Zionist entity's present genocide is undermining her ability to enjoy the fruits of past genocides that she has conducted, which of course is true.
Stop war crime status now. I believe in genocidal status. And it is without shame, without remorse, without truth, without insight into what it's doing. But what it is doing is endangering Israel's fundamental security because it is driving the world to believe that the Israeli state is not legitimate. This will stop when the United States stops providing the munitions to Israel. It will not stop by any self-control in Israel. There is none in this government. This is a murderous gang in government right now. These are zealots. They have some messianic vision of controlling all of today's Palestinian lands. They're not going to stop. They believe in ethnic cleansing or worse, depending on whatever is needed. And it is, again, the United States, which is the sole support, and it's our mumbling, bumbling president.
So, Jeffrey Sachs is a liberal Zionist who's worried that the Zionist entity's present genocide is undermining her ability to enjoy fruits of past genocides that she has conducted, which of course is true. So, liberal Zionist, Jeffrey Sachs. And then you got Diana Buttu. Diana Buttu is a lawyer and former spokesperson for the PLO, best known for her work as a legal advisor and a participant in the normalization talks between the Zionist entity and Palestine. So, Buttu has a BA in Middle East and Islamic Studies and an LLM from the University of Toronto, a JD from Queen's University of Law, JSM from Stanford, and MBA from Kellogg School of Management in Northwestern. And she began her work as a Zionist normalizer in 2000, shortly after the second break of the Second Intifada, by serving as spokesperson for the normalization support unit of the PLO. Again, liberal Zionist. Buttu has since gone to work as a political analyst for the Institute of Middle East Understanding. Again, she's a Zionist think tanker. In an NPR given earlier in her tenure as PLO advisor, so here's the thing. Buttu is a liberal Zionist. And even though she said she had mixed feelings about normalizing, she's still a normalizer. Buttu is a liberal Zionist. Buttu is a liberal Zionist. She's a Zionist grifter. And now she's writing opinion pieces for Zionist propaganda outfit Haaretz. Buttu stated that she regretted being part of the Palestinian normalization team. So she's a liberal Zionist normalizer. Yeah, Buttu is... Jonathan Adler, definitely a Zionist settler. Tadamoon is a Zionist normalization organization. So Jadalia is a liberal Zionist organization. Jadalia is definitely a liberal Zionist organization. Francesca Albanese, again, Zionist normalizer. Yeah, Benon Savan, he's a liberal Zionist. He's a settler. There's a clear pattern of this behavior. Clear pattern. Jack Goldstone. So this guy's a Zionist. And his alma mater is Harvard. So, and he's the Virginia E&T John Hazel Professor of Public Policy and eminent scholar at the Schar School of Government, George Mason University in Arlington, Virginia. He's a deep state operative as well. So again, liberal Zionists. Clear pattern of Zionist normalization.